Here's a slightly different approach to placing the text. In this example, we're going to suppose that the text has been created in Word or any similar word processor, and that the creator of the text has applied styles, the same style names that we're using in our layout. And if that's the case, we can leverage their work and have their styles mapped to our paragraph and character styles. If we take a look at the text in Word, here is the styled version. You can see that it doesn't look the way that we ultimately want it to look in InDesign, but the important thing is, and we can see this when I click in any of the paragraphs, that style names have been used, and they've been used consistently. If that's the case, then back in InDesign, I will select the text frame and go to the File menu and choose Place, and this time placing the styled version. When I place that text, it's going to look the way we ultimately want it to look in the layout. Now the problem here is that that first paragraph is the headline paragraph, so that it's so big we can't see the rest of the text. But if I were to continue my text flow into the second text frame, we notice that the text is pretty much in the style that we want it to end up in. We may need to make a few changes here and there, but much of our work has been done for us. We can take this a step further even, because if I were to flow another column of text, when we get down to this example here, we see that there's a slight problem in that the naming convention used in the Word file was slightly different. It's logical, but slightly different from the one that we were using, because here the style is called subheading, but actually we're after a style called subhead. That's how we want it to look, and this subheading is a non-native style that's been imported from the Word document. What we want to do is we want to map any styles with different names to their equivalents in the InDesign document. So I'm going to press Command or Control Z as many times as necessary to get me back to the point before I imported that text, so that the subheading, the non-native style, disappears from the Paragraph Styles panel. And this time we'll do things slightly differently. Place, use the same document, but this time show import options. And this is the option that I want, Customize Style Import, and then click on Style Mapping. And we can see wherever the style names are identical, they map to the equivalent style. But in the case of this one here, subheading, it has no equivalent, so I need to click on that, and that should map to subhead. Now when I click OK, and OK again, I'll flow as much text as necessary so that we can see the point I'm trying to make, and we see that it ends up in the appropriate style, and we don't have any unwanted styles appearing on our Paragraph Styles panel. Now that approach is great and can be a big time saver. The one big drawback with it is that it requires a lot of communication with the person who is creating the document in Word. And in a real world, that may not be possible. In fact, it may be easier for you, the designer, just to work with the raw text as you receive it, rather than trying to explain how this should be done to the person who is creating the text in Word. So for that reason, I'm going to be working with the raw text that we did in the previous movie. And that also allows us the opportunity to see how, given a raw state for our text, how we can easily clean it up.